Hello guys. Καλησπέρα σε όλους. It's Sakis Fragos from Rock Hard Greece, and you have tuned to a new Instagram live chat we're about to have with Dark Tranquillity's singer, Mikael Stanne. We are join our company. So, you have already sent us a lot of questions about Mikael. I have gathered every single one of them, and we're about to make these questions to ask these questions to Mikael. So, as I see. So the only thing that Mikael has to do is to ask us to join our. No, they cannot join us right now. Let us see what we can do. I think we have Mikael with us right now.
There we are.
Hello.
Hey, can you hear me? I'm good.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Awesome.
Fantastic.
This works. This is my first time using Instagram
very nice
Live.
to see you, because there's no other way to see you, my friend, again.
This is as close as we're ever gonna get, at least this year.
This is social distancing, distance through social media.
It's the technology of the future, and that's really what we need. This is amazing. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for accepting this invitation. There are so many people already watching us. It's really great to see all these people, and I have already gathered lots of questions for you. There is from all over the world. I mean, people haven't heard the album yet, and they're so eager to listen to Moment, and they have flooded me with questions that they want to know everything about your album.
I'm ready. I'm here.
First of all, I took part in the listening session you did for.
All right, cool.
And tell me, was there something more awkward than this internet listening session? To let people know, there were the guys from Dark Tranquillity and Jens Bogren and the presenter in a studio, and they played the album streaming for the journalists who were watching, and we were doing interviews through our keyboards and sending questions to the band, and they were answering.
Yeah, it was strange. I'm actually in the same place where we just did that a couple of weeks ago, and I thought it was going to be super awkward, just because, like, we're just sitting there, like, answering questions. But the good thing, like, the presenter is an old friend of ours, and we had a couple of beers in us, and it actually made it way less awkward than it could have been. And so it was a cool way to actually do it. So we did 3 rounds. So there was like 40 journalists each time. So we did the same thing 3 times. So it's an entire day of just sitting here, answering questions. But I think it turned out better than expected. No doubt. And of course, it would be way greater for everyone to kind of come over here and sit in our studio and listen to the album, and then have a chat and ask all the questions. But it was kind of time effective, and then that's what we're gonna get used to now.
However, it was a great solution, so that we could hear the album beforehand, before the release. And I would highly recommend it to everyone, every single member of the music industry right now. This is a way to do the listening sessions. at this moment.
Cool. Yeah, I would agree. It's it's what needs to happen, and it is weird to not go out and promote like I normally do, but at the same time, it's kind of good to be home too and doing something like this, you know.
And there are already questions going around, so I can. The nickname is Benevolence Canir, something like that. Will you stream Assassin's Creed Valhalla on Twitch?
I really will. I just bought a new GeForce graphics card, and I've installed Assassin's Creed, and I haven't been home yet. I installed everything today, and I'm ready for it, but I just haven't been home. I'm so incredibly busy all the time. But I will for sure. Tomorrow, hopefully, if I have time. That would be awesome. I'm so looking forward to it. Holy shit.
Fantastic. Once again, you have a one-word title. Why did you choose to do this again?
I like it. I like the nature of having one word because it can mean a lot of things, and it can mean a lot of things to a lot of people. I like that it's because whenever we talk about this year, for instance, we talk about like what a weird moment this is, and that reminds you, I got to listen to that TRANQUILLITY album.
Very common word.
But it also, it can mean a lot of different things. And obviously, the idea was for it to mean the moment between the past and the future, and like how we decide on where to go, you know, and what the future might hold based on our experience and our past. But it also means a very different thing in Swedish. And it also means something else in German. And for me, that's always kind of fun to have something that means something in kind of like your original language too, you know. And it's easy and it's memorable and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. So to all the guys that have been watching us right now, this is really overwhelming, and I would like them to show which country they are from. As far as I've seen, there are people from Russia, from Mexico. Of course, from many countries. Just say hello and mention your country. It would be great for me and Mikael to see that. And there's a question from Mike, who says that how does the band manage to maintain its musical identity despite the recent lineup changes?
Yeah, that is always something that we are acutely aware of, and we are not worried but concerned with, of course. So when we started writing this album, it was of course like Anders and Martin who wrote all the material, and we knew this is what we want, this is the way the album should sound and all that stuff. But then bringing in Johan and Chris meant like, okay, now we have new guitar players who kind of have to interpret that, add to it their own spin, of course. So it was kind of up to us, and especially Martin, who produced the album, like to maintain that TRANQUILLITY integrity and the sound, of course. So it was something that we were very, of course we are protective of our sound, and our style, and the thing that we have built up, these 30 years. But it turned out to be very creative and cool and a great experience, because Chris and Johan knows our music. We toured together for 3 years. So, so they totally understand and get it, So it's just a matter of like, properly communicating what we want and what we all want, and to find that balance between, what is fundamentally very much TRANQUILLITY, but also, with their strength, in terms of technicality and skill and, and experience. So it was something that we talked about and thought about a lot, of course.
Mm-hmm. Our friend Clint has asked us, are you in the vinyl factory again? There's a question.
I am not. I am in a backline company. We're talking. We're preparing our live stream that's going to happen in a few weeks. So we're just having a meeting here. So, but I'm going there, I think, tomorrow to pick up some of the finished copies and of our. Yeah, and this is our own vinyl edition of the album. So we did 500 unique albums pressed here in Gothenburg, and they're already sold out, unfortunately, but they look incredible, and I cannot wait to have to see them, like the finished product. it's such a pleasure to actually print your own music onto a disc, to see that happen. And I've been to like a CD factory years and years ago. That was cool, but seeing this kind of like having your music kind of be formed into like a bowl of plastic and then just pressed and then it comes out and it sounds fantastic. Oh, it's beautiful. I love it.
There's a Greek guy, Yanni, says huge respect for Mikael, who always stays after shows for the fans, for signatures and photos, no matter how tired he is. He's always there smiling until the fans are satisfied. That I can say that it has happened to us. We have done together 2 or 3 shows, I think. So yeah. I can assure everybody that this thing is happening. So many questions. Don't know if I can ask them all. Bill from the band Hilltops Are for Dreamers says, cool. I've watched all your studio diary videos for your new album, and I found very interesting the way that you record all these different parts. Do you compose music in the studio too, or do you go there with with all your parts written beforehand?
We do write in the studio as well. Like, the fundamentals, like Anders will write at home and then he will just record something and then we have something to work with in the studio. And it's the same with Martin. But all the composition and kind of structure and that kind of stuff is done in the studio. And then, of course, when I write lyrics, I'm at home in my home studio and I do recordings there as well. But most of the actual work takes place in the studio. So we've been there, for more than a year writing.
And he mentions that, by the way, the studio looks great and certainly a very inspirational place to be.
Thanks. And I agree.
Have you worked remotely as well to bring those parts together due to the pandemic, perhaps?
No, we didn't have to. We 4 of us live here in the town, so it's super close to the studio. I walk to the studio every day. Chris and Johan lives a couple of hours away, so they come up and we do like weekend recordings, and they've stayed at the hotel here in town for most of the studio sessions. So no, we didn't have to do that, fortunately. So that was all good. Like everything could be done in the studio.
Clint says that in your last few albums there is a balance between guitars and keyboards. Was it done on purpose, and is there a possibility to make your sound heavier now that Chris and Johan are in the band?
That balance is always a thing we think about, of course. Martin is, of course, very instrumental to the sound of our band, but also, guitars need to be there and as important. So striking that balance is something that is fun to do and also like a challenge, especially when you mix, because Martin likes to do different layers and all kinds of sounds, and then to mix that with guitars is difficult, but it's a cool thing. And there was something that we thought about very much because we demoed all the tracks before we recorded them, and I think there is a heaviness because of Johan and Chris. Their skill and their kind of talent is unmatched, and they play so incredibly well that of course it is heavier and it is more guitar heavy, I think, this time around.
Mike asks, what is your favorite beer?
Oh, so many. There's so many. If I had to choose to only drink one beer for the rest of my life, it's probably All Day IPA from Founders. It's one of my all-time favorites. I can never get enough of that.
And as I can see, you have many fans in South America, because in Central America there are so many
cool.
So many guys from Chile, from Bolivia, from Argentina.
Oh.
Our friend right here says you made a song for a game. I wonder if you have considered to make a video game soundtrack.
Ooh, I would love to. It would be fantastic to do something like that. We haven't, but it would be very cool. I think Martin would be up to the challenge. He loves video games as much as I do, and I think that would be super cool. What I did for this upcoming game called Metal Hellsinger was it's basically like death metal songs that they the composers for the game did. And then they asked me to sing on it, and it turned out great. I mean, it's going to be a super cool soundtrack. They even got like they have Matt Heafy from Trivium, they have Alyssa from Arch Enemy, there's Björn from Soilwork, there is Randall from Lamb of God. So it's going to be an amazing soundtrack to that album. I'm thinking that it might outsell the game, honestly.
At least for the Metalheads, it would be sell out. It's going to be sold out. Don't know if they play the game, but they will surely listen to the soundtrack.
Yeah, and actually, it's a super cool game, and I can't wait for it to come out. I think it's coming out in like February or something like that, according to plan.
Our friend Diego over here asks, are you looking with Grand Cadaver a heavier sound you are not doing with Dark Tranquillity?
Not Grand Cadaver is just a project with some friends. They just asked me, like, do you want to be part of like this super weird death metal project that we just came up with? And I said, yeah, fuck it. Fun. You know, we did it in a couple of weeks, and that was it. But it's great to record something super fast. We did it like old school, like in 2 days, basically just how we used to do demos back in the day. And it was a blast, especially coming from recording the Dark Tranquillity album that took 6 months. And now we do something in 2 days. It was awesome. And it's super heavy, and it's coming out in January, and it's just an EP, 4 songs, only on vinyl, you know, really old school, very, very Gothenburg and Stockholm, old school 90s death metal. And it's, and the lyrics are super stupid, but they're fun, you know. I mean, just about like me kind of like reliving my youth, you know, dreaming about H.P. Lovecraft and horror movies and that kind of stuff. It's silly, but I love it.
Our friend over here from Los Angeles, California, says that her 7-year-old son is a fan of yours, and his favorite song is Misery Sound, and she wants to give a shout out to her son, Dayden.
Hey, Dayden, holy shit. Good thing, yeah. Teach them young. That's what I always say.
So another friend over here asks, was there any thought to be part of the composing team? Because as far as we know, you haven't contributed much to the music since Projector or something.
Not true. No, I mean, I'm part of the writing process all the time, just because of, you know, like, oh, I want this, let's change this. And it's more in terms of composition and structure and that kind of thing. And if I have like a vocal line of melody or something, that will change the song according to it. But I don't write any of the music at all. And I leave it to the guys who are more capable than I. And I don't really have aspirations to do that. I think it's enough to write the lyrics and all the vocal lines and all that stuff, you know. And I don't play guitar anymore. I was shit back in the day, and I haven't gone back to it.
Mike asks, he has a crazy proposition to consider in the future. Next time to play Insanity's Crescendo live, invite Sarah Svensson to come over and do her vocals.
Holy shit, that would be cool. I haven't seen her since she recorded that, actually. She was just in for 1 day in the studio. But that would be cool. We haven't played Insanity's Crescendo since we played it live in 2008, I believe, when we did the live from Milan live DVD. I think that was the last time we ever played it. So we should come back. It's a good song.
And John asks if there's any idea for the whereabouts of Eva Marie Larsson, who sang in the Gallery album.
Well, it's kind of like the same there. She was a friend of Fredrik Nordström's, and she was just in the studio for a day. So we just like, we need a female singer here. It would be cool. Like, do you know anyone? And he's like, I think so. And then made a phone call. Someone came in, sang. Like, thank you very much. Here's some money. All right, hope to see you. I'm really weird.
Who would have thought that 30 years later, there were guys asking for these guest singers to come along?
If I ever meet her again, I will definitely tell her, like, yeah, I did this Instagram live thing with, from Greece. Turns out people are thinking about you still.
Fantastic. Which of your albums do you consider to be your milestone? The one that has set borders for other bands as well. For example, not your favorite one.
I think, I mean, when the gallery came out in '95, that opened up a lot of doors for us. We started touring for the first time, and and people started recognizing our music. And I think that was definitely a milestone, the first one. Then I think '99 Projector was a bit of a milestone because we changed direction pretty drastically, and also changed to Century Media Records, which made all the difference. And I think those were the two biggest ones that I can think of.
Mm-hmm. Another guy here asks why you did not play encores before. Why did you start to do it?
We are very ambivalent about encores. One part of me thinks it's just stupid rock and roll bullshit, where you just go like, do you want to hear one more song? Oh, ooh, wow, cool. Let's go back on stage and do it again. It's like a vanity thing, and it's kind of cheesy, and I hate it. But then at the same time, sometimes when we do it, we take a little break, and the people start screaming, and you go like, yeah, why not give them some more? And so sometimes I like it. Most of the time I don't. So sometimes we do it, especially like when we do like headline shows, we do it, but I don't know. We're going to play all these songs anyway. We might as well play them all, so yeah, it depends on the mood actually. Like if I feel like it, then we do it, but it's a weird thing. It's a complex issue.
There are so many questions, I could say strange questions. Evelina, for example, from Greece, I guess, says, I had an argument with my boyfriend. Mikael, does the song Ego Drama really talk about sexual dysfunction?
Oh, no, I wouldn't say so. Ego Drama is just, like... It's about that, one person in your life or your school or your job or something like that just cannot stop thinking about themselves, that where everything is about you, everything kind of revolves around you, and you just it's incapable of seeing other people around you and to empathize and to understand others and just kind of go with their own flow. I think that was the frustration that comes out from being with people like that is the inspiration for that track. So yeah, that was a weird interpretation of it, I think.
No,
but anything is fine,
You know who won in this argument?
No, the battle continues. Yeah.
A friend from Japan, Bubai, asks, what was the most interesting part of making and recording Moment?
Ooh. I think the recording sometimes can just be a chore because like you know exactly what you want, and then you're standing in the studio and you go like, fuck, I want this feeling, I want this, and it can be frustrating, right? But sometimes you come up with something that is better than you expected, and that's fantastic, when that happens. I think probably my favorite part was kind of like the guitar solos, because that was different, because everything else is kind of the same. I've seen Anders play drums before. I know how Martin plays keyboards, and Anders when he plays bass. I've seen that, it's always great, but seeing like Johan and Chris play guitar solos and kind of come up with stuff on the fly and kind of interpret the track and kind of make it their own, and to kind of emphasize certain melodies and certain moods of a song, was mind-blowing to me. I was kind of amazed, and I wanted like all the different takes I wanted on the album because everything was so good. So I think that for me, that was my favorite part of it.
Mm-hmm. Another friend asks, which is your favorite metal album? But I would add, which is your favorite non-metal artist or your guilty pleasure? I know that you have a lot. We have done many years ago a DJ set, and you wanted to play Elton John, and
oh yeah, holy shit, yeah, I remember. Barely, I was super drunk.
That's why there are so many questions about beers, but you have asked, you have answered this question.
Yeah. My favorite metal album, one of my all-time favorites that I just cannot get enough of is Headless Cross by Black Sabbath. I think it's the best Black Sabbath album, and I know that's controversial, but I love it.
I got so much too. I like it very much.
Oh man, it's so good. I'm glad. But then non-metal, I love a lot of non-metal, and I really don't have any guilty pleasures. I mean, you can say it's a guilty pleasure to love Simply Red like I do, but I'm not ashamed of it at all. In terms of like my favorite non-metal, I think I would say, well, it's one of my favorite albums of all time, but Jeff Buckley, Grace. I think it's one of the best albums ever made, and it's definitely not metal.
Questions about Niklas Sundin. If you're still in contact with him in the musical aspect, any chance of upcoming collaboration in the future?
Not musically, but I'm in contact with him every single day because of all the graphical stuff that we need, and that we talk about things like that every day. And he's doing his solo project with the Contrail Sun, which is fantastic. So musically, I sent him sent him some lyrics, and I want his opinion. And of course, I sent all the songs to him, so he can react to it. We can talk about it, because I really value his input and his view on things. But musically, no, I mean, it would be great to eventually do something again, and I would love that, and I love for him to write more music in the future. But for now, like his family life is what he's doing, and working, with the visual stuff, with animations and cover art and t-shirt design and all that good stuff. So, and it's full focus on that.
Yeah, Ashkan from Iran wants you to know that you have serious fans, lots of serious fans in Iran. I've let you know about that. It's always interesting and interesting to know that these countries have a metal scene that enjoy heavy metal music. That's very important for everyone to know. There are many people answering from Iran in this under this.
Wow.
So there's a question about Anders from In Flames. What do you think about him as a vocalist or a songwriter? But I would add, add, this kind of strange, what would you say that this Gothenburg scene with bands like you, like In Flames, At the Gates, Soilwork, how has it changed throughout these 30 years of existence? Because you have been an integral part of this scene with all the mentioned bands before. How do you think it has changed? Are there any regrets about your career so far?
Oh wow, that's a big question. Yeah, as for Anders, I mean, I think he's fantastic. Like he's great, and he's able to do a lot of things, and like emotionally, I think he just keeps getting better with kind of expressing lyrics and doing melodies and all the stuff. I think it's incredible. In terms of the scene here, I mean, of course it has changed. Like everybody has grown up, and back when we started, it was, we were just kids trying to figure out how to be part of the metal scene, and how to make music together. And we all did it around the same time. And of course, then a lot of things happened really fast, like around 95 or something like that. Everybody started touring and all the bands kind of got recognized and known. And of course it has kind of changed, but a lot of things have stayed the same as well. It's still the same kind of people. We still hang out. We still have a lot of fun around this area. We go to shows together, and we go to each other's shows, of course. And and in terms of like the overall scene, it's super strong. There's still so many cool bands from the city. In any genre, from power metal to prog to doom and sludge and instrumental stuff and everything. So, like some of my favorite metal bands from all different genres are from here, which is crazy. Mm-hmm. So it's a cool thing that it's evolving, and of course it's not easy if you're a new band and you want to play melodic death metal. You you will be people will be compared constantly, and that would be weird. But a lot of bands are really kind of finding their own niche and trying to be original and different, and find their own path. And I think that's really cool. And so I could go in normal times. I could go to a show every week to see a local band, and that's amazing to me. And so that has changed, of course. Like, there are opportunities, there are stages, there are clubs, there are venues. That wasn't there when we were kids, when we started out.
And so many record labels and so many outlets to your music, Bandcamp, Spotify, YouTube, anything.
Back in the day, we had to press our own cassettes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our friend from Russia asks if you prefer to play on big stages like Wacken or in small clubs. Which ones do you prefer?
I like to do both. I really do. I mean, a big stage is fantastic and it feels cool and all that stuff, but at the same time, you don't get that connection. You're not that close to people, and you can't really see people's expressions. That kind of stuff. So that connection is kind of lost. So that's why I love smaller venues where the stage is perfect and you're close but not too close, and it becomes a more physical thing. You can actually shake people's hands or whatever, and so I love that intensity of it. And so yeah, I'm glad that we do both all the time. And a super sweaty small club, when everything is right and the atmosphere is there, then that's the best thing in the world. And then a huge festival, sometimes when everything clicks, it can still feel a bit too distant. We played in Colombia last year in front of 75,000 people, and I couldn't see a single one of them. I saw a few people in the front, and that was it. And it was crazy. And actually, no, it was more. It was we thought it was 72,000 people, and we thought that was the biggest show we've ever done. And then they called us back and they said, no, it's 110,000 people. What? And I still couldn't see it, so I couldn't really appreciate it or enjoy it. So smaller is better sometimes.
Our friend Evelina won their argument for the previous song we talked about.
All right, cool. He was one.
There are so many. There is flooding with questions, and I've missed a few of them. There are guys from from Tunisia asking. There are guys from Tunisia, from Turkey, from everywhere in the world asking you to, and of course from Greece, asking you to visit our countries, each countries. So, what things from the tour life do you miss most?
Oh wow! I was just talking about this with our tour manager, and I miss, of course, people. I miss the crowd. I miss the interaction. I miss performing music in front of people. I mean, that's what we do, and that's why we're still doing this, because we have an audience that appreciates that and wants to be there and wants to be part of it. That's the best thing in the world. But I also miss seeing friends. I even miss going to airports now. It's been that long. It's been more than a year. So the stuff I normally hate, I miss too. But I think, that just being on a stage and having everything work, and then actually being able to somehow communicate with the crowd through music, through our music, is the best, and that's what I miss the most. And getting that high of energy, like that rush of adrenaline that you get from a perfect show. It's like there's no comparison. There's nothing else like it, and I'm so addicted to that feeling.
Yeah, and another thing is that you communicate with the fans, that you hang out. If you're in a festival, if you play in a festival, you watch other bands play. It's not like you personally just play your music and leave. You are part of the show, part of the festival, part of the set, part of everything. Before the show, after the show, you enjoy every aspect of it. And
yeah, if I can, if it's possible, of course. I mean, that's amazing when you get to do that. You know, get to see a lot of cool bands and hang out and be in a huge crowd. I mean, I love that. So it's great that we actually get to do that. Plus play, you know.
yeah, and plus being paid to play and watch other bands.
That too. Sometimes even free beer, all the good stuff.
Yeah. How can someone improve their own lyric writing and formation? I don't know if you can answer this question, but I have to do it.
For me, I try to read a lot and I try to write a lot. You know, write a lot of crap that I throw away, so that I know what it's good and what it's bad and what I feel comfortable with and what I'm not okay with. So I think it's good to be very self-critical and self-analytical. But more than anything, I think the best stuff you write is when you're brutally honest, when you really kind of put it out there and not try to sound like someone else or try to sound more poetic than you actually are or whatever. Like if you really stick to the truth, you really speak from the heart and you make something matter, then that will improve the way you sing as well. And it will make the song better by, you know, in every single way, I think, for me. And that's the kind of music that I listen to, and that's what I want to convey when I write. You know, that's my goal, for it to be very real. You know.
Yeah, for all the guys that are asking to read their questions, there's so many of them. It's impossible to read everything. You send
I would try to be faster too.
Yeah, you send a question, and then there are 10 more coming. So it's very difficult to keep track of everything. Our friend asks, and plus I had at least 15 questions on my on a piece of paper right now, and I don't know if I've asked them all. But is the upcoming album going to be available on streaming platforms? I can say yes, because Central Media,
of course.
Media is already having all their albums. I can answer that for you.
Yeah, of course.
Does Leather really talk about love or death?
Leather?
Yeah.
That track? No, I wouldn't say so. I mean, there's definitely, it deals with passion, but I think it also deals with alcoholism and drinking in general and forgetting and try to kind of get rid of problems and finding like an easy way out. Maybe that is death, but in that context, Leather is the river of forgetfulness. So it's about kind of drowning yourself and getting rid of something. So maybe, it's part of it, death. I didn't write it, but Niklas did, but I love that song, and it always means something special to me whenever we play it.
What will you play in your live stream show in a few days? Will you play a moment in its entirety, or are you going to play songs from other albums too?
We are going to play the album in its entirety, and we've been rehearsing like crazy. And I'm here like in this warehouse now, so we are preparing this huge live show, and it's going to be the most kind of elaborate stage we've ever built. And so it's going to be crazy. And I'm nervous about it because there's so many things that can go wrong still. But it's going to be super cool. And playing an entire album is something that we've never done before. And this is the first time ever we play these songs together. Whew. And it's been weird, but I'm so looking forward to it. And it's starting to sound great in our rehearsal room, and everybody's kicking ass. So it should be very cool. So that's the plan.
There are at least 4 questions about these characteristic dots on your cover. What do they mean?
Depends on who you ask. I always considered it to be, because there are 5 dots, right? So, or there 1, 4, 5, 6. No, it's 7, and it was for Niklas. It was just like a graphical thing that kind of looked cool. And then I said, well, maybe it's kind of, we're 6 members, but the 7th is whatever we create, So 7 dots, like the 7th dot represents everything that we put together as 6 people, So that kind of elusive different element that we somehow create becomes something else. You know, our music is separate from us. You know, we are something that is greater than the sum of its parts, so to speak. And that's how I view it. So it's 6 is us, and the 7th is what we create.
Mm-hmm. So if we keep on doing this, then we'll spend the whole day long. But I don't think we have more time for this, because you already have an appointment over there, and our time has already been spent. We don't have more time for this. I wish, first of all, to thank all the guys that took part in this conversation before and during.
Thank you so much. This is cool.
It's I don't know if you know already how many fans you have from South America, from Russia, and from Asian countries like Iran. So many people saying hello from many different cities, many different countries. I have seen at least 6, 7 people from Iran taking part in this chat, and it's amazing. From Portugal, from Belarus, Argentina. Right now, they keep on saying Spain. Every person has a different nationality over here. It was overwhelming. This thing was overwhelming, and I can say, if you ask me, that Moment is one of your best albums in the last 10 years. I enjoy it. It has a projector feel to that. I really like.
Nice. All right.
I really like your clean vocals. That you have used the clean vocals more this time, and I think this is a very strong point for you. You have very good clean vocals. You should use them more.
Okay.
So I know that as soon as shows will start, we'll arrange it. We'll come to Greece, play for us.
Oh yeah, please.
Yeah, we will do it. We will do it for sure. But for the time being, let us know about your live stream. When will it happen, so that your fans can watch it from the internet?
Yeah, it's going to be on the 1st of November. So the day after the album comes out. The album comes out on a Friday. On Saturday at 8 o'clock Central Time. That will be 7 in Greece. And it's going to be
Central European. It's 9 o'clock in Greece.
There you go. And it's going to be available for a week. So, you know, if you go in and so we're going to put out tickets tomorrow, I think, or today even. So you can go in and purchase, and there's going to be some cool special T-shirts, all that kind of stuff, you know. And it's going to, the entire album, you're going to hear it for the first and only time performed in its entirety. And I'm super excited. The idea was to have this be kind of like the first show of the Moment tour, you know, to treat it such. So we're actually bringing in our crew from Portugal. They're coming here for the first time in a year. We haven't seen them. They haven't worked. And it's going to be, full production. Like all of this stuff you see behind me is going to be on stage. It's going to be fantastic. So it couldn't be more kind of thrilled about this. And so hopefully, you know, everybody checks it out, you know, and be there. And also there's going to be comments, so we can kind of, you know, chat afterwards and all that stuff if people have questions, much like this, you know. And check it out. It's going to be cool. And of course, you have one day to learn all the songs, you know, so you can sing along at home.
Yeah, I already have the album, so it will be easy for fans. Fans will surely enjoy it. I highly recommend this album. And so, Mikael, thank you very much for this chat.
Thank you so much. And thanks for everyone who is watching. You know, we're going to see you very, very soon. It's so great to have people from all the world, and makes me miss touring even more. So, it's going to happen eventually.
Yeah, of course. So, wish you the best of luck with your new album, and hope to speak very, very soon and meet each other.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. This was great, man. Thank you.
Thank you. That was great. Thank you very much. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.